All right, you are now tuned into the Rotated Views podcast. I am your host, Jimmy Lee Velez. I am here with Gabe, Goose, and special guest, Jenine Colon.
Hello, hello.
Embracing leadership. In this episode, we have special guest, Jenine Colon, team building / leadership expert. The crew discusses what it means to be a true leader. Jenine explains what team building means and its importance of building a successful business. We discuss motivation and how to effectively use personal development. We get an expert's advice on true mentorship and close the discussion with an opportunity to build wealth. We wrap the episode up with quotes from Robin Sharma and John Maxwell. All right, if you're new, thank you for joining us, guys. Don't forget to download and subscribe. We drop a new episode every Tuesday morning for your listening pleasure. Kicking things off with a definition from dictionary.com, we define the word leader. A person or thing that leads, a guiding or directing head as of an army, movement, or political group. Beautiful, right? Yeah. Pretty direct. All right, so there you have it. So we have special guests with us, Jenine Colon. As I mentioned in the promo, we had her husband on for episode 51, which we had a blast. And I thought, how unique of an opportunity we get to have both of them on here. So we took advantage of that, and she gladly is joining us today. So we're super excited. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
And welcome. All right, so can you just give us a brief bio of who you are and what you do?
Sure. So again, my name is Jenine Colon, and I'm 36 years old. I'm married to a wonderful husband, as Jimmy Lee said, and I have two beautiful children, 11 and 7. I am a health and fitness coach, and I'm also a health and wellness business mentor.
Nice. Beautiful. All right, so obviously the topic is embracing leadership. I defined the word leader from dictionary.com, but for you as a leader in your industry, what does leadership mean to you?
Leadership definitely means, that's someone who is definitely passionate about impacting and influencing others.
Love it. All right, so how does one embrace leadership? So sometimes you're thrown into a role, sometimes you kind of choose a role and you just make things happen. How does, what's the best way someone can embrace leadership?
So leadership, obviously, it's not a title, right? And right. I feel like all of us are leaders. Somehow, some way, we're leading in our life. With your mom, you're leading your children. If you're a teacher or a coworker, you're leading your employees. So I feel it's something that we all have within us. I think that it's just something some of us embrace more than others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. That's super true. And with that comes some people, as you're saying, kind of in a denial kind of thing. And it can go the other way, right? I mean, sometimes people are waiting for you to take that leadership role. They're waiting for you to take, head on a project or of the household, whatever it is. And although how painful that sounds, it's the truth, right? Mm-hmm. So leadership, I don't know, every time I hear that word, it just sits heavy with me in a good way. Yeah. Like you just, I don't know, to me, it's just one of those things where it gets me excited because now I can set the tone, set the example. Especially the first thing I think of is my house. Everyone's watching. We always talk about everyone's watching, no matter what you're doing, how you're brushing your teeth, how you get up in the morning, how early you get up in the morning. They see you going to work, not going to work. They see how you're talking to people, how you're eating, how you're conducting your entire life. Those little eyes are watching. And I think that's when I hear leadership, I think of, leader of the household kind of thing and like paving the way in that direction. Obviously with other ventures and things like that, business and just work, whatever it is, there's leadership things I do, but I think it's like part of my personality. I just take it on. So if for example, okay, here's an example. If you're in a group, you ever do those like icebreaker things where it's like, all right, everyone get together, blah, blah, blah. I'm the person who wants to like, all right, guys, what do you think, blah, 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 we should do? And I don't even realize I'm doing it. I got called out on it at, at my job before. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I just want to like, I don't know if it's because I want to win or I want to like, I don't know what it is, but I'm like, all right, we're doing this, and everyone just kind of goes with it.
You just want to be the first one to break the ice.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but I always find myself just, I feel like, just life in general, it's up to us, right? And so if I'm going to take control of this crazy thing we call life, right? it's going to be up to me.
That's so true.
I'm not letting someone else sit there and run and conduct and do whatever. I'm like, hey, if someone else wants to take it, that's on you. Maybe I'll follow you, but if no one's saying anything, let's go. Let's get this done.
Yeah.
All right. So just jumping right into it. I know you run your own home-based business. How did you get started in the industry and why?
So actually, it's kind of crazy. What I do, I just really got on to be healthy myself. So it's really about me at first. I really wanted nothing to do with the business end of it. Sure. And I would say about 4 months into me taking care of myself, getting into the health and fitness industry, it kind of just like fell in my lap. I wanted to share it with others. I wanted to pay it forward. I wanted others to feel like I felt, and then I would say, it was 4 months. It was around 4 months. I got laid off from my job, and that was it. I left there feeling so unappreciated and undervalued and so limited. And just seeing other coaches and other people who were building this home-based business and what they were doing, and the no limits. The sky was the limit with this. And I never thought it was something for me, but after leaving there, I was like, you know what? Why not? Yeah. Why not? I love helping people. I love the way I feel. I love the way they're feeling. So I just took a leap of faith, and it kind of just happened.
Wow. That's crazy. So did you get approached, or you just went for the product, or how was it?
So it was kind of crazy. I was in the fitness industry. So I was managing LA Fitness, which a lot of people know about LA Fitness because they're all over. And an employee of mine had gotten started in the business, and she wanted me to be her first client.
Gotcha.
So I was like, okay, I'll do it, that's really how I got started in it. Yeah, how it got approached to me.
Sure.
Yep.
Very cool. So what was the turning point? I know you were saying that you kind of wanted to share it with other people, but when you got really serious, do you remember that moment where you're just like, oh, we're turning it up a notch? Like you saw the potential and you just ran with it?
Oh yeah, it was the day I got laid off.
Gotcha.
I'll never forget. I was so upset, but I think I was more upset to come home and tell my husband that I got laid off.
Yeah.
I was more worried about that, and I wasn't upset that I was leaving that job because, again, I felt so unappreciated and undervalued, and I was limited. Yeah. There was no room for growth, and I knew I was capable of more. I knew there was more for me out in life, but I just didn't know what it was going to be, and this just felt like it. I was like a sign. It just felt like this was it. And so I was, I just, like I said, I took a leap of faith.
So how long ago was that?
That was actually in April of 2013.
Oh, wow. 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 I just got the chills. That's awesome. So 5 years, a little over 5 years.
5 years, yeah. 5.5
very
years,
cool.
Yeah.
So obviously, you know what it takes to build a business. Number one, build a team. Number two, and they always say there's like this crazy statistic. It says like if a business can last, a small business can last over 5 years or something, the succession rate could be basically forever because your first 5 years is so nuts.
Yes.
And even if you had some level of knowledge of what to expect, there's still the unexpected obviously happens.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And if you can get through, again, this statistics, I forget where the source was from, but they're saying if you can get through those 5 years, you're literally golden, which is pretty impressive when you say, like 5.5 years, and you were probably straight after 2 years, but now it's like solid. Like this is you. Like people know this is what you do. This is part of your, not even part of your life. This is your life.
Yeah.
And for 5 years, it's like no one can take that away from you. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So building a home-based business, there's team building involved. How did that turn? So obviously you get into the motivation, you yourself got motivated because you got laid off. Then you just turned it up a notch. But how does that get taught? Like, how do you know how to build a team?
You really don't. Honestly, you kind of just, a lot of what we do comes with a lot of training. So in our business, they do a lot of leadership training, team building training, communication, all of that. So you just learn as you go. You know, no one's an expert at it.
Right.
You know, everything's a learning process, and as you're growing, you're learning.
Yeah.
So I tell everybody, there's no you don't need a special, gift to do this. You're gonna learn as you grow. And one thing is just be you. Just be you, and just go with it. Yeah. You'll get it.
Yeah. I know. So I forget. I was having an outside conversation with someone, and they said, kind of asked what's the turning point? How do you know when you move towards your next project and that's the thing? I said first of all, the decision's already made in my mind. But when I know while I'm going through this process, I can laugh at myself. And it was one of those things. It's like I take life serious, but you can't take yourself so serious. So you're going to screw up, right? I mean, It doesn't, like you said, like no one knows everything. That was like my one buddy just found out him and his wife are expecting, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna have to get some rules of the game from you. I'm like, rules of the game from me? I'm like, we're all knuckleheads. We're all confused. No one knows what's going on. We're all figuring it out. They don't come out, with a user manual. But yeah, it's one of those things where. It's a challenge when you're facing things that you're not familiar with, but I think that's that's where the growth comes in.
That's where the growth comes in.
And you're in the fitness field, so you understand that not to be cheesy, but no pain, no gain kind of thing. So you know that you're stretching your body, you're growing. So it's kind of like the same thing in the business sense, or any there's going to be growing pains, and when you're going through that, something good's coming.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool. So what's your favorite part about building the team?
I would say communication. I love learning about people. I love getting to know people. I love working with people. That is my favorite thing.
Yeah, I think there's like this energy that you get, especially from building people up.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh man, that's amazing. So what's, trying to flip it around, what's your greatest challenge as a leader?
Boundaries.
Wow.
Yeah, boundaries. That's tough. It's still working on that.
Yeah.
Still working on that. Yeah. It's hard because, you're responsible to them. You're not responsible for them.
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
So, you take a lot on your back for what is going on and what you're doing and what they're doing. And it's really not your job. They have to take ownership. They have to make the decisions. They have to make the choices. And you try to do it for them. And there's boundaries. You got to have those boundaries.
It's definitely tough because sometimes, almost like with our children, sometimes you want it more than they even want it.
Absolutely.
And there comes that weird thing. You're like, wait a minute, hold on. And you kind of take back. And then not that you get mad, but you're like, wait a sec. I feel like I want this more than you even want it. Because you understand when you hit certain levels. Even as a person, so as an adult, I understand things obviously that my child doesn't, and I know dude, if he works so much a little bit harder, he doesn't understand how successful he's going to end up being. And so on a business sense, they were like, I remember going through the stuff that they're going through. I'm telling you, and then you almost want it more than they do in a sense, and I think it comes from a good place.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard to put the brakes.
They say you can feed what is it? The horse to the water. Oh my God, I know that. Come on, you know the saying.
You can lead a horse to the water.
Yeah, but you can't make them drink.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it comes down to.
That's funny. Yeah, and so with that same thing, kind of, I guess I'm correlating a lot of this with raising children. But what does it mean for you to see your team collecting success stories?
That's the best part.
Yeah.
That's what this is all about. It's about results.
Yeah.
So, we commit to them for an end result.
Yeah.
Whether it doesn't matter. The smallest thing, the biggest thing, it's, seeing them achieve, different achievements or results or whatever they're going for. It could be, in our industry, it could be weight loss or, someone just being healthy or building the business and making an extra $500 a month. It all depends. So, just seeing them achieve those goals is that's the best part. Yeah. That's why we do this. Yeah,
for sure. And it's one of those things. It's like when you could be having a bad day or a bad week, a bad month, whatever it is. Obviously, with these kinds of industries, it's a mindset is everything. So you have these little tools that you use to get yourself out of that little rut. But when you do see your team or a child succeed, that gives you, they don't realize it, but that also gives you that juice.
Yes, it does. I tell my clients all the time, they'll text me and they're like, oh my God, I did this. And they'll send me a picture. And I'm like, you don't know how much this just made my day.
Seriously.
I'm like, this is what
awesome.
I needed.
Yes.
Thank you. And I keep him in my phone. I take pictures of it and I keep it in my phone because I need those reminders.
Yeah, for sure.
When you're in your valleys or things are going on, I'm like, okay, this is why I'm doing this.
This
is why I'm doing this,
for sure. Yeah, it's a cool reminder, and like you said, it's not easy, right? Success overall, it's not something that's just gonna come easy. Otherwise, everyone would be successful, right? So you're gonna get beat up along the way, and sometimes you're gonna get punched, and it's gonna set your butt back. And it's those little things, like those little stories, those little, encouraging words, whatever it is, going through your notebook, reading those, motivational stories or inspirational stories. It just, that's what gets you back up. Mm-hmm. And then we always talk about the why, remembering the why, which is your complete anchor. And I tell the guys all the time, my inspiration for me is the why. So you're inspired. And then after a while, you want that juice. That's when motivation comes in. Because a lot of people confuse, in my industry, a lot of people confuse inspiration and motivation and say, oh, motivation is just, you're gonna get hyped up and then you're gonna blow a gasket. Okay, but it's a tool, so you have to use it appropriately. Yes, you can't use motivation. That's like people taking energy drinks and coffee and all this stuff all day long. No, you're going to ruin it. No, stop. It's for a specific reason. You're up all night studying or whatever, working, and you need to get up. Yes, that makes sense. Boom, you're going to need that. But every single day, for no reason, out of routine, you're going to kill the worth. And you're going to mess it up and you're going to take it away.
It's not going to work anymore for you.
Exactly.
And it just becomes...
And then they want to know what's going on. Oh, that doesn't work for me.
Right.
Because you get immune to it.
Exactly.
You took the buzz out of it. But yeah, so that's awesome. So when you are motivating and you're talking to your clients or your teammates, how do you kind of get them? How do you shift their mind when they're going through their challenges?
You said it. It's their why. It is so important for me to know why they are doing this, because I need to remind them. I need to remind them their why and why they're in this and why not to give up. I can't personally motivate them. That's something that they have to do.
Right.
They have to internally motivate themselves. Mm-hmm. But I can remind you on why you're doing this.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's awesome. So what's your overall motivation to attain your lifelong goals?
So obviously I'm just an average person that's realized that I deserve more out of life and I'm capable of more out of life, and walked around with my head down for a long time and very complacent. And when I finally decided to pick my head up, it was the most beautiful thing ever, because I've learned so much about myself, and I'm going to keep learning more and more things about myself.
Sure.
And that's all I want for people. I feel like so many people walk around with their head down and they have no idea what they're capable of. And they have so many great gifts and they have so much potential. And I just hope that my life experiences, I'm not asking them to do what I do,
sure,
but I hope that it inspires them to do something that they were called to do.
Yes.
Because I truly feel we're all called to do something in life.
For sure. I think when someone can understand that and understand the worth of everyone, that everyone has this level of worth and this potential that's truly within them, just, unlocking that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's true leadership, when you can give that almost to somebody. It's not that they didn't know it, they forgot, right? Yeah. And it's like you're saying, reminding them. Yeah. You're so powerful as a person, and when you instill that into somebody and it just lands and it hits their heart, and you're literally changing lives. Like you said before, forget the money. Money's awesome and it's great, but outside of that, when you push all that aside and you see what you truly accomplished, it's the lives that you changed, the movement that you created. It's this foundational thing that you're setting the tone for generations to come. And now it's like your own brand. You are your own brand. So when people say Jenine and Joe Colon, or Joe and Jenine Colon, they know what they're going to get. Not only that, when they mention your children, I mean, obviously with your kids, you can only control so much what they do, but still, it's like, oh my God, your parents were Joe and Jenine Colon, right? It's like, it carries this weight. So our actions go beyond just us. And we don't even know. There was just, I was walking around the hospital the other day. I work in a hospital, and I literally just smiled at someone. And they came running back around. You're like, you don't understand how, like, they're saying your smile was so genuine to me. It changed. My mom's in the hospital bed right now dying. And all I wanted was just something. I just needed a sign from God. That's what she was saying. I needed a sign from God, and I just smiled. I didn't know what the heck she was going through, but I was walking by and just being polite, and just, I looked at her. She looked a little distressed, but I just smiled, and she like grabbed me and turned me around. She's like, you don't understand how much, and I didn't even say anything. Imagine when we speak to people, you know what I mean? How much impact we can have. And that's the other thing. You don't even know what people are going through. And you can, oh my gosh. And it broke my heart, because I understand, our father passed away from pancreatic cancer. Yeah, there was like a level of me, that can relate to that. And it was almost like a sad thing. I'm like, look how easy it was to help change someone's life, or at least their day or their mood.
Just
a smile.
At the moment, yeah.
Right at the moment, and I did it out of the kindness of my heart. It wasn't like, oh, let me see how many lives I can change today. You know, it wasn't like that, like an intentional thing in that way. But anyway, so all right, so switching gears, how do you explain your unique lifestyle and business approach to your kids?
So it's kind of crazy because my son was not. Yeah, he was born actually. He was very little though. I think he was like 1, and my daughter was maybe like 5. So this is all they know. So they don't really like understand if mommy and daddy had to go work somewhere. They're like, what do you mean? Like you work, you do advocate, you do this. Like what do you mean you're going? Like they wouldn't understand.
That is awesome.
So they are so used to us being home and taking them wherever we want to. Like all summer, we just pick up and go. Like I don't think they would understand if we ever had to go and work in the corporate world. I mean, Joe did work until 2015 when he got laid off. So when he came home, that was like the best thing for them in the world. Like they loved it. They were like, Daddy takes us to school now. It was like, the highlight of the year, which was awesome.
That is awesome.
So, when you see that on their faces and you see how they feel with having you around all the time.
Right. Yeah.
It's just so wonderful. Like, you don't ever want to look back.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't ever want to look back. So, they don't really know any different, which is pretty awesome because that's something Joe and I want for them. We want them to know that, you when you grow up, do what you want to do. Like, don't be fearful of going for things in life. If you want to be an entrepreneur, go and be an entrepreneur. You want to go be an astronaut, go be an astronaut. Right. Just go for everything that you want in life. And, we all have special gifts. So I try to embrace, like, anything they want to do, even if it's the most awkwardest thing. And we're like, what are they doing? Like, we try to, like, not block that.
Right,
because I feel like that's what happened to a lot of us. They're like, don't do that. And you have to do this. Like, let them do it. Just let them try everything. So we try to like put that because they see what we do and stuff. And so I guess it's really not normal for them.
That's awesome.
Or it is normal for them.
Cool. All right. So what is one big dream you have for your family that you would like to share with the world?
It probably sounds weird. Not really weird, but just happiness. I really just want my kids to be happy. I want us to be happy. I don't want my kids to live in stress. I don't know why happiness is just so important to me. Just to be happy. Like,
definitely.
I don't know. It's just
that's huge. It's huge, and it's interesting because you reflect on certain things from your childhood, and I remember like always thinking, I'm like, man, when I get older, I'm never doing this, and I'm gonna do this, and you have all these things in your mind, and how basic that is. All it was is like you're trying to be happy. It really boils down. Like, why do you want to do X, Y, and Z? Well, for happiness, this level of freedom in your mindset and in your heart, and then just that genuine happiness. You could just look up and just smile. Like,
exactly.
Genuinely.
That's all I want. It's happiness.
That's awesome.
All right, so you and your husband are business partners.
Yes.
So, do you guys have roles? I mean, I know roles is a loosely used word, but is there roles in your business? And
So I actually love that question because a lot of couples out there that are in business together, they either jump in it and they got it and they're like a great connection, or sometimes I know in what we do, a lot of times it's a struggle. Like, my husband's not on board, or he don't understand this. So it's rough because especially if you have different personalities and different strengths. And I can tell you that the best thing that my husband and I did was take a strength test. When learn each other's strengths. And that happened probably about 2 years ago. And we've been together for how many years? You think you know your partner, but you really don't. It's like crazy. And when we took that strength test, it was a heaven sent. It was like, wow, okay, now I know why you act that way. And I know why you like to do that. And you're not always trying to do what I'm doing. And I'm trying to make him do things that I want him to do. And it's just not his strength. So in the beginning, it was rough because I was trying to make him do things that I wanted him to do or what I like to do. And he was not working that way. And then when we finally got to learn more about our strengths and what we were good at and how we can work together, that was a game changer.
Yeah.
Yeah. That totally changed the whole life of our business. And
That's
now,
awesome.
you know, I understand what he does and he respects what I do, and it comes together.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And that's the thing though, right? I mean, they always say like, oh, opposites attract. Not in a, like a crazy way, but you do, like your personalities are different. And I feel like that's the reason why you landed as a couple. We were filling each other's voids. And then when we become that couple, so much more powerful.
Yes.
And just understanding that. I know back in the day we read a book, 5 Love Languages.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
But I remember, we all read that. And I just remember reading that. Outside of like what I discovered about myself, it's just interesting. It was a great, I guess, foundation to begin. Like, okay, so we're clearly different. And now I know a little bit of what makes you tick. Mm-hmm. But you're right. There's like that force. Like, believe me, dude, it's working. Do it this way. And it's like this jam it down your throat kind of thing. I'm like, I don't work that way. You know what I mean? Yeah. Same thing with me. Even as the times we get up, right? I'm an early bird. My wife's not an early bird. So if I wanted to do something and it had to be with her, I have to like meet somewhere in the middle. Yeah. I can't be like, get up at 4 a.m. with me. And she's going to stare at me like, there is no way in hell I'm getting up at 4 a.m. with you. But me understanding that now, I'm like, all right, I know it's a little bit early for you. Yeah. What about 4:15? No. All right. So what's the best part of working with your better half?
Oh, it's great. I mean,
or not so much better half. Whatever.
No, I actually love it. I mean, we get to learn more about each other. We grow with each other, together, and just building this legacy for our children together. I think that's the most special part about it. So I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so let's switch gears again and talk about team building and leadership. One question that I always have and find fascinating is when you do have a team, right, you're going to have the people who are basically doing everything you're telling them to do in a good way. And then you have the people who are just kind of fighting it. Let's just say fighting the process. How do you get their teammates, and they kind of see, and even though like in certain industries, they're, you're really their direct line and all that stuff, but they see it, right? They see some resistance happening in the team. How do you get the entire team to rally around the bigger dream, so to speak? Is that possible?
It's definitely possible. I mean, and definitely what you're saying happens all the time. I try not to focus on trying to balance that out, because I feel like that's always going to happen,
Sure.
right? You're going to have ones that are, fully committed.
Right.
They're going to give it their all. And then there are ones that say, like, I like to call them ones that are like intentional, but not committed.
Right.
They're intentional, but they're not
Right.
committed.
Right.
So, I think as long as the vision is clear, and what you want for this team and where you want to go in the future with it, whether they're going to follow that or rally up towards it, that's really on them.
Right.
So I try not to I try to just pay attention to the ones that really want it and, not give that energy.
Right.
Even when I'm communicating with the ones and, we kind of just we don't even give it energy. We try to just avoid that,
Right.
Don't even bring it to light.
Right.
Because if you do, then it's going to cause more, discommunication between everybody.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like if it's the vision, obviously we all have a different purpose on why we're on this journey, but
Sure.
we all, if we have a clear vision as a team on why we, in my industry, why we are serving people, why we are serving others, then your purpose is going to be aligned with it no matter what. You know what I mean? Then you're going to, if you are passionate about it, you're going to do it.
Yeah.
You're going to drive towards it. So
Yeah.
I guess I just don't try to focus on that energy.
Right. Right.
Don't give it light.
and in this, in this industry too, it kind of goes back with what I was saying earlier. It's they're going to they're going to do what you're doing, not necessarily what you're saying. 'Cause there's a lot of talk and there's a lot of motivational speakers and books out there, and people are saying a lot, but are you doing a lot? And that was just kind of leads me to my next question. How do you and Joe set the tone? Because they always say, what is it, like your team's going to be like 20 steps behind you, so you can't, you definitely have to keep moving, even when they, they're, good listeners or doing everything you say, you have to stay ahead as well.
I think always having a clear vision of where we're going.
Yeah.
That's actually something I've been really working on, because when I first started, it was very fuzzy to me. Okay, making future boards and, manifesting. And it's it really wasn't sitting in, and I understand why now, because, you know, like you got to have a clear picture.
Right.
You really got to understand like where you're going, and as long as we know where we're going and we can continue to pursue that, they'll follow.
Yeah.
You know, they may be 20 feet behind, but they will
Sure.
follow, because they'll know that we're never going to give up.
Right.
And eventually going to say like, oh, wow, you know, if I would have kept with that,
Right.
you know, 3 years from now, I could have been where they're at. Or,
Right.
you know, I have people say it to us all the time. They're like,
Yeah.
we started this when you guys started. I can't believe that you're, you know, there now. And I'm like,
It's crazy.
hey, it's never easy. You just
Right.
never give up,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
So, but we've got to keep a clear vision and
Yeah.
just know where we're going. Because
Right.
if we don't, what do they say? I think I was just on a call, and I think this was like Hillary Clinton's campaign or something. You can't be what you can't see. Yeah,
Yeah.
that like set in good. I was
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah.
yes, that is true.
Wow.
yeah, it's good.
Very good. So, you know, you just touched on manifesting and having a clear vision. What does personal development mean to you, and, you know, how do you use it?
It's huge. So prior to running a home-based business and building a team and coaching and, you know, business mentoring and all that, I've never done personal growth.
Right.
Like I never, I'm being total transparent here. I'm a very
Yeah.
authentic person. I never read a book. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm in school if I had
Sure.
to read books.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I've been in management for years, and I've never been a part of a team that's, you know, done personal growth. And
Right.
for someone to put a book in my hand and tell me, you know, you need to read this, and you're gonna learn more about yourself than you really did think you know about yourself. I was like, no way. It was pretty amazing. It was like aha moments.
Yeah.
And it's important, you know. I truly do believe if you're not growing, you're dying. Like,
Yeah.
if you really want to live your fullest life, you need to continue to grow and evolve, because there's so much, you know, you're capable of. There's so much about yourself that you'll continue to learn about.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So,
Yeah. So you're mentioning books. I remember reading. I was reading a bunch of books. So for me, it was in 2006. I got introduced to the personal development industry, and I never looked back ever since. Reading books, you know, going to seminars, all this good stuff. But I was a reader, but not to this extent or whatever. I didn't have a library. But anyway, I remember reading a book by Rhonda Byrne titled The Power. And I read this book, and it changed everything of how I thought. It was a complete paradigm shift. And literally, I don't even know, it was just the content of the book. It resonated with me. And I read probably 50 personal development books prior to that. And I'm like, oh, I get it. Yeah, this is awesome. I'm like, I'm changing for the better. This is good. My mindset's getting sharp. I'm like, I'm on the ball here. Then I read this book. I'm like, I had no idea what I was talking about. I think it was just, the content was great, but with the everything made sense. When I read that book, everything clicked. I'm like, oh my, literally to the point where I was just in the room by myself bawling. I'm like, I know what I need to do. Now, I'm not saying that's like an over top reaction to a book, but was there a book that you read that kind of changed the game for you, or not necessarily a book, something maybe like a speech you heard or something that you saw that was like that level of paradigm shift?
I would definitely say 3 Feet from Gold.
Nice.
I'm one that definitely, you know, if I feel like something's not working, I would just be like, okay, done that, let's go to this. You know, I would never like just keep digging and just keep digging.
Yeah.
And that was definitely a game changer for me. So I'm like, wow, like if you just kept on digging, you could probably have found a lot of gold, Jenine.
Yeah.
So that book was a really big eye-opener to me personally. And I think right now I was just reading Hustle, Believe, Receive, because I'm like I was saying before, I was struggling with the whole vision thing. Like I knew what I wanted now, but I couldn't just really get a grasp of a clear vision on what we wanted in the future. And like, so she really just broke it down, like on manifesting and understanding like why it's important to have a vision, and you know what a vision looks like and how you break down a vision. Like I could go take a board and put all these pretty pictures on it and say this is what I want, but is it really my vision?
Yes, exactly.
You know, so that was one of my biggest books, and that's by Sarah Centrella. She's an awesome person, and I would definitely recommend it for anybody who's struggling with like vision and future and just doesn't know what they want in life, and just really how to manifest that and get through it.
Very cool. Very cool. So do you recommend books to your team? Do you kind of kind of analyze what situation they're going through, and a book pops up. It happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
I ran through so many books where it's to the point someone's talking and a title is already coming to my head. I'm like, I don't know if you read or not. Get the book on tape. It doesn't matter. This is going to change your situation.
I absolutely do. I always feel like, and like you said, I can read a book and it can resonate with me and I can love it, but you can go read it and be like, oh, like, wow, this doesn't even resonate with me. Like, throw it away. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I always feel like the book, like I always tell people, if you can get through the first chapter and you're like dialed in, like you can't stop, like that's it. Yeah. Like, then the book is for you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Read the first chapter. If it's not for you, just put it aside. But, oh yeah, I definitely recommend books now, which is crazy. I have a bookshelf.
Yeah.
I have a bookshelf.
I have a bookshelf.
I know, and I said that there's times where there's Gabe knows and my brothers know there's multiple books that I have doubles of because when I do recommend or I am talking to somebody, I'm like, hold on, I have a copy for you.
That's what happens. You start buying stuff. That's what I do now. Yeah. Buy 3 of them.
Yeah, exactly. I just buy extra. I know, regardless of what comes of that, I feel like that impact alone on just that gesture, right? Outside of the book and what they can gain. Just that gesture, and they're like, this person really genuinely cares. They just gave me a book, or I mail one out. Yeah. It's those little things, along with something as simple as sending a thank you letter, a handwritten. We were talking about handwritten letters the other day, and how not many people do them anymore. Sure. Your handwriting through your text messages and stuff like that, but the actual pen to paper kind of thing, and you're saying thank you, I appreciate you, blah blah blah. And it's genuine.
I believe in that. Every one of my clients gets a handwritten note from me.
Nice.
Every one of them. It's like once a month. I have it marked in the calendar. Just even if it's a quote.
Yeah.
That reminds me of them, or it's going to help them through their journey. I just put a quote in there, just like short and sweet, and I send it out. Yeah, I that's very meaningful to me. I know if someone sent that to me, I would be like, wow, because like you said, everything's done through text messages nowadays or through social media. So I still do it. Still buy stamps.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm still a stamp buyer as well. So that's cool. All right, switching gears again. What are your thoughts on mentorship / coaching? For you, is that the same? Is it two different things, or do you yourself have a mentor?
Absolutely. I think mentorship and coaching is so important. I think you should always be a student. You should always be learning. You should never be the smartest person in the class, and if you are, then you definitely should be doing what you're doing.
You shouldn't have registered for that. No.
I have, and I don't have one mentor. I have many mentors because I feel like they kind of help me in different ways.
Absolutely.
And I even suggest that to my own team. I'm like, I'm your mentor, but don't feel like you always have to come to me.
Right.
There's other cross-line mentors or coaches that you may resonate with that I want you to connect with, and learn from them. So I feel like mentorship and coaching is so important.
Yeah. I know there was this, I forget how, I don't know if even if it was a quote or not, but it was a suggestion made to us. If you have someone on your team who is, for example, a teacher and you're not a teacher, right? So connect them with someone who's successful that's a teacher, because they're going to, sometimes we want to take ownership. We just want to do everything, like we were saying earlier, for our team. Like, no, I got this. I know what I'm doing. You have to
be the go-to person.
Yeah, like you have to be. But sometimes letting go in that sense is like, dude, yeah, you're still my coach and all, but I feel like this person's going to get way more value off someone they can relate to on a totally different level that I cannot, you cannot force. Sure. Right? So if I'm a car enthusiast, right? So your brother's a car enthusiast, and you find someone who is super successful and is a car enthusiast, you're going to connect them more because, someone's talking to me about cars. My conversation with you can only go so far.
Exactly.
But when you're talking to, these people who are super into whatever topic it is, they're going to relate on and then you're like, and you do this? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That always stuck to me. I use that for everything outside of business, just relationships in general.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people was like, oh, I want to build people, or I'm gonna build this out of some like benefit for me. Sometimes we gotta step away sometimes from that, right? Mm-hmm. And let that person benefit, even if you get nothing out of it, right? Sometimes that's what's gonna take that selflessness and to change that person's mindset and like, you know what? That person let me go, kind of, in a sense. I respect that almost more than you sitting there hodling them and like, no, you got to stay over here. I'm the boss over here in this, in so many words. I just, that was one of the things that, stuck with me. All right, cool. So you present people with a wealth building opportunity on a daily basis. What is one thing you wish people knew or understood about home-based businesses?
It's a privilege. I never thought of having a plan B ever in my entire life. Like plan A, you work your full-time job. It is what it is, right?
Right.
It is so nice to have a plan B, and especially a home-based business, because you don't have to clock in.
Yeah.
You create your own schedule.
Yeah.
You work, you create your own pay.
Yeah.
You tell yourself what you want to get paid.
Yeah.
There's no limit on that. And you're your own boss.
Right.
So to me, it's like a privilege, and God forbid something happens. We never know when the rug is going to be pulled from underneath your feet. And especially in like mine and my husband's situation, we were both laid off from our jobs.
Right.
And I'm so thankful that we had a plan B, because if we didn't, I don't know where we would be as of today.
Yeah.
So, I think more people need to look at it in a different way, because some people say, oh, it's another job. It's another job, but it's your job. Like, it's your business.
Right.
There's a difference in that.
Absolutely.
So I think it's an honor to me. It's been a blessing. So
very cool. That's awesome. All right, cool. So if people are interested in getting more information about your wealth building opportunity, how can they contact you?
We are on Instagram. You can follow us at fitformula_lifestyle. Which is our new branding business. So you can follow us there. Also on Facebook, we're Fit Formula. You can like our page.
Nice. Awesome. So let's take a step back, actually, because you just said something that it just triggered in my mind. So you guys have a location now, right?
We are renting space, yes.
Renting space outside of your home. So we're talking about home-based business. But this is when you know how you're saying this is bigger than just the mindset. This is bigger than what the old, I guess, mentality of these things are. Where now they're renting out a space. So technically it's like, this is bigger than I think what people actually have and the stigmas that are in their head. So explain a little bit about that and how you got there.
Absolutely. So because of this, having a home-based business, it's allowing us now to pursue more things that we want to do in life. And my husband has definitely been, fishing around and trying to figure out what his purpose was and his passion was. And he really found his passion for personally training clients. So he started to tap into that. And just in April, we started our Fit Formula business, which is the small group training and personal one-on-one training.
Nice.
And so it's just allowing us to just open more doors, more opportunity, more streams of income. I'm all about more streams of income.
Absolutely.
More streams of income, and God only knows where it's going to take it from there. Like, that's just another step. We definitely know that there's more coming. We just don't know what it is yet.
Yeah. That's awesome. So is it something where you have set hours, or it's kind of like by appointment only?
No, we have set hours. So we run morning classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we run night classes on Mondays and Wednesdays, and we run a Saturday morning class.
Nice.
We're going to start a new Burn and Learn, so we can start teaching our clients the nutrition part of what we do at the same time as the fitness, which is awesome. Yeah. And then we're going to start to slowly add in some more things in there, because we're all about finding your fit. And, a lot of people think fitness is a one-size-fits-all thing.
Sure.
And it's not. It's living the lifestyle, finding what works for you, and, living that lifestyle. So we want to really get that message across to our clients. And, if this is just more ways for us to engage with them and show them, then we're just going to keep on doing this. And
I love that. Finding your fit.
Yeah,
that's cool, because it's tailored to each person. And as you guys know, being successful in the business world, and obviously comes along with that, with the fitness and the health, you can really understand that. So anyone interested, Joe and Jenine are the real deal. They do what they say. And they're living it, as you're saying, as it's a lifestyle. It's not just all right, for this time to that time, this is how we're going to act and be. It's how they live every single day. So that's awesome. So are you guys incorporating all your your home-based stuff with that, or is that's all kind of intertwined?
All intertwining. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. So I handle more of the virtual end of things, because we have clients out in California, we have clients out in Arizona, all over the country.
Wow.
We actually just went international, so hopefully we'll get some Canada clients.
Nice. That's
which would be really awesome. But I really handle that part of it. And then again, his strength is definitely in the one-on-one connection with people face to face and doing that part. So yeah, this is just more ways for us to, bring everything together and help our people.
Wow, that makes total sense. That's awesome. All right, cool. Anybody have anything they want to add? Did we miss anything?
Sound good.
Perfect. All right, so there you have it, folks. We'd like to end our show with quotes, and the first one is by John C. Maxwell. A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Kind of goes back on our, the action thing. And the second one by Robin Sharma. Leadership is not about a title or designation. It's about impact, influence, and inspiration. Impact involves getting results. Influence is about spreading the passion you have for your work, and you have to inspire teammates and customers. All right, so there you have it, folks, embracing leadership. In this episode, we have special guest Jenine Colon, team building / leadership expert. The crew discusses what it means to be a true leader. Jenine explains what team building means and its importance of building a successful business. We discuss motivation and how to effectively use personal development. We get an expert's advice on true mentorship and close this discussion with an opportunity to build wealth. We wrap the episode up with quotes from Robin Sharma and John C. Maxwell. Awesome. Guys, thanks again for joining us. The Rotated Views podcast was produced for self-development purposes. Huge shout out to our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by the Blessed Lifestyle brand. That is BL3SSED.com. Also sponsored by The Motivation Files Unleashed. This motivational mixtape will be your fuel for success. Available on all platforms. Guys, don't forget to visit the website, JimmyLeeVelez.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Rotated Views. If you have any inquiries or questions, email us at info@JimmyLeeVelez.com. On behalf of myself and the rest of the crew, we wish you massive success. Stay blessed.